Hey everybody, there's been lots of comments and questions about how to make your own hat tags, so I wanted to show you how I do it using the Cricut Explorer Air with the pen feature. You'll start in Design Space like this. Start by adding a rectangle to your screen. You're going to resize it down. I make mine 0.75 wide and 2.5 high. And then I'm going to go in and just change the background color so that I can see it a little better, being we're going to be putting stuff on top. Next thing you're going to do is go back to Shapes, grab a circle. This time, you're going to leave the lock in place so it stays symmetrical, and I change it down to 0.18. Drag that over there. You're going to duplicate that circle so you have one for the bottom. Put that over there. Now don't worry if they're not perfectly aligned. We're going to align them in a minute. Select the whole item, alignment, center horizontally. So now they're in line with one another. Next thing we're going to do is add our text. I've already got my logo font in there, but you can change the font. You're going to go to the top and switch it to pen. And then in that little box, change it to the extra fine pen. Go ahead and double click on the box, put in your business name or whatever you want it to say. And then I'm going to go up and resize this little box down to 0.43 by 0.57. For some reason mine changed back, so I'm just going to fix that. Drag the text up here. Again, doesn't have to be perfectly aligned at this point. We'll fix it later. Next thing I'm going to do is put in my little kitty cat yarn ball. It's going to drop it in huge. Don't worry about that. We'll fix it later. Make sure you rotate your image 180 degrees if you're going to be folding it over. And then I'll just size this down to the same size as my text box. Move it over onto my label. Turns out I can make it a little bigger, so I'm going to. There we go. Take all of that. And again, you're going to align it center horizontally. So now everything is lined up. Next thing I do is I'm actually just going to attach all the layers so I don't accidentally knock anything out of place. I did forget to take my little cat and change it from a cut design to a print design with the pen. And again, you're going to go in, select your extra fine pen, and change that so that it'll print in the machine. I'm going to go back and double check and make sure everybody's got the right settings. Your circles and rectangles are just basic cuts. Now that I know everything there is good, I can get rid of the one I was working on earlier. Delete. Now we go over to make it. From here, it's just like any other project on the Cricut. I have my machine set to Fabric Plus because the Faux Suede is pretty thick. I also use my deep cut blade, but that's totally up to you if you want to use a fine point. From here, you'll just load your machine like you would cutting anything else. It will take a little bit of time because first it has to draw with the pen, and then the next thing it will do is cut the tags. You can also adjust the number of copies you print at once. On a 12 by 12 sheet of Faux Suede, you can probably get something like 20 to 30 tags to print from one sheet. Remember, when you do that, it will take a long time in your machine. Make sure to stick around and babysit it to keep it from gumming up or peeling up or getting caught anywhere along the way. When the machine's done, all you have to do is unload the mat and carefully lift up your tags. On mine, I use Chicago screws. They fit through my 0.18 circles perfectly fine. And what you've been seeing above is the final product. This is for the bottom of a beanie so that the name and the logo are both right side up regardless of which way the beanie is flipped. If you do a brim on your beanie, you're going to want to reverse the images. So you'll have to play around with it and find what works for you. I hope this has helped you figure out what I've been talking about in the group, that I use the pen and the Faux Suede on my Cricut Explorer Air.